Good morning, everyone. I want to take this time again to thank everyone. I want to thank God for the beautiful day that we're here all together as one family, one community in the Southland. I want to thank everyone for attending this very important event in saving indispensable medical care services and jobs in our region. And let me make an announcement as to who's here with us. We have concerned veterans of Vietnam, Mayor John Ryan from Alsip, American Legion Post 50, representatives of Union SEIU, Congressman Bobby Rush's office, Marcel Wright. We have Alderman Cantello Zillman, Alderman Casares, Alderman Carr, Alderman Mech, Alderman Donahue, Alderman Hill, State Representative Bob Rita, our City Clerk Randy Heuser, our City Treasurer Carmine Bellato, and all of you as residents. We thank you for coming out. Let's hear a big round of applause for all of us. Before we start today's rally, I want to take this time to start with an opening prayer. Father Dennis from St. Benedict's.
Thank you, Mayor Vargas. So I know we're all here for the same reason, and not only to thank all of you who are here, but also if there's any employees from the hospital, to thank them for the good work. Probably everybody standing here has at some point benefited from the service, the care, and the compassion of our hospital workers at MetroSouth. So just want to thank all of them that were here today. Thank you, folks. So let us pray. God of all creation, you made the human family one. You ask that we watch over and guide and help and protect one another. We ask that you strengthen us who in this difficulty look for your guidance and your patience. We ask that you give us wisdom on how to respond to the crises here in our own neighborhoods. We ask that you continue to inspire us in word and deed to reach out to those who are in need. And we ask that you give guidance and wisdom to those who have the responsibility and the authority, that they may place people above profit, care above shareholders, and that they may always look for the good and the well-being of all those that they serve. We make this prayer through Christ our Lord. Amen.
Thank you, Father. The driving force behind this rally started with the doctors, the nurses, the staff, the patients, and you, the residents of this community. Without all of you, and without them, we wouldn't be here this morning. The Southland is under-resourced area, and this proposed closure will greatly impact all of us. I repeat, we are 100% opposed to the unexpected proposed closure of this hospital and any other hospitals that are closing. We must do everything in our power to make sure that this doesn't happen and keep possible these medical services that are essential here and keep countless jobs and provide family sustained earnings and benefits. Let me give you a little bit of a history of the institution that stands behind us. This hospital is a hospital that for 114 years has provided much needed medical care to the disadvantaged, and I repeat, to the disadvantaged. The hospital was originally opened at St. Francis Hospital in 1905 by the Sisters of St. Mary. They purchased the home of the late Ernst Ulrich in 1905 for $30,000 and updated its systems to outfit the building for its new purpose. At that time, this section of Gregory Street was lined with churches and homes of some of Blue Line's most affluent citizens. A major addition was added in 1916, at which time the house was converted to office space. It was demolished in 1948 to allow room for the next addition. The Sisters of St. Mary relinquished ownership of the facility to MetroSouth Medical Center on July the 30th, 28. As MetroSouth Medical Center, the hospital occupies approximately 12 acres in the heart of Blue Island's uptown commercial medical business district. In 2014, U.S. News and World Reports ranked MetroSouth as one among the top 25% of hospitals in the Chicago metropolitan region and among the top 15% in the state of Illinois. I have the pleasure and the honor now to introduce Barry Wright from the Concerned Veterans of Vietnam to say a few words. Mr. Wright.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Good morning, everyone. And I just want to say this was really nice for all of you guys to come out and support this effort here. I'm the 10th Black Navy SEAL of 1966, wounded twice in Vietnam. And I like to think this is the kind of stuff that I got wounded for. This is you're the kind of people that I got wounded for. I was fighting for this. Each and every one of us veterans here today, we came here to support this. And I wish it was more of us here, and next time it's gonna be more of us here. I promise you that. I'm gonna turn them out. I think this is a worthwhile something that the mayor and all of the people, all of you people are doing out here. We're from Chicago, but me and my wife has been in this hospital 2 times. Once they saved my life. I had a stroke. So I'm gonna be here with you. I'm gonna stay with this until we get it done. And I just wanna say again to you, it's really beautiful that all of you've come out today. And next time, let's bring somebody with us. Let's turn it out. Let's make this happen. So I just wanna say, God bless you, God bless America, and thank you very much. Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Wright. Now I have the pleasure to introduce to you Representative from Congressman Bobby Rush's office, Marcel Bright. Mr. Bright.
Thank you. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
Congressman Rush wanted me to be here to show his support for trying to keep this hospital open, just like he did when it was St. Francis. But this is more than just about Blue Island. It's about Riverdale. It's about Robbins. It's about Calumet Park. It's about Alsip. It's about all the surrounding suburbs who utilize this facility. And on a personal note, years ago, my younger brother was in an accident on I-57. He was seriously injured. This is the hospital they brought him to. This is one of the reasons he survived. He was here in less than 5 minutes. Doctors said that made a difference. So personally, even though I'm not from this community, I support keeping this hospital open just like the congressman does. Let's keep working towards that goal. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Now I have the pleasure to introduce to you and call up our State Representative, Bob Reda.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone.
Good morning.
You know, we've done a number of these different events since the filing in June 11th when they filed the paperwork to close this hospital. And it's going to be a devastating effect not only to the city of Blue Island, but the surrounding communities, for our first responders, for our residents, for our employees. I stand here with the employees, with the doctors, the nurses, the community, to keep this hospital open. You know, from day one, Quorum, who is the owner of this hospital, has lied and is showing you firsthand what corporate greed is about profits over patients and serving a community. We need to save our hospital. Tuesday is going to be a very important day. It's the day that the Health Facilities Planning Board will take a vote on if this hospital should close or if they should delay. I've been asking them, and a number of us, all of us officials and residents have been asking the board to delay this vote so that we could bring in a quality network to come in to provide health care and to save this hospital. I know there are a couple of networks of hospitals that have been trying to work with them, and they've just shut them down. Their goal is, for when they first filed, they said it was going to close at the end of the year. They kept moving this deadline to now September 30th, with no warnings, no working together, not working with the community. So we need to send a loud message. On Tuesday, there's going to be a public comment section. So for those of you that could travel to Bolingbrook, we have the information at my office. I know the mayor's office will have that, so that we could go and show our support and demand that the Health Facilities Planning Board delay this so that we could provide the health care in this community for our residents and for our town, my town, where I live. So thank you, Mayor.
Thank you very much, State Representative Bob Rita. Next, I have the pleasure again and the honor to introduce Mayor John Ryan from the city of Alsip.
Thank you, Mayor. And I appreciate the opportunity to be here with everyone this morning. I'd like to reiterate what I shared with everyone when we asked to give some testimony a few weeks back regarding the MetroSouth Hospital's closing. Obviously, we all appreciate the opportunities and the services that are being given here, both in jobs and service. From where I sit, I manage a substantial, great community that's got 20,000 residents at night, and that doubles during the day with all the manufacturing and distribution companies and whatnot. Alsip Fire answers almost 3,500 calls a year for service. When we're backing up Blue Island and any of the other communities around here, we need services like this nearby. Otherwise, what's the alternative? We're going to push this out to another hospital, delay times for getting back to our community, which triggers a domino effect of all the other communities around us, and this is a domino effect. So really, when it comes down to public safety, what's your alternative? What's your option? And that's why we need services like this to be made available to our communities. Not only in just an individual basis, but on a professional basis, because this does have a trigger effect that will trigger a lot of other communities that don't even come anywhere near Blue Island right now that will be affected by this as well then too. Doesn't seem like it on the short conversation, but it is. The reason we all look at emergencies or accidents and so forth, because they happen in a split second. And those can happen minute after minute around here then too. So please, the Village of Alsip certainly has the back of this community and this hospital to do what we can to support your interest here. But it obviously goes without saying we're all here today because we know it's in our best interest to have this service available to us. So again, thank you for having me out this morning. Thanks, Mayor.
Thank you, Mayor. Again, the honor now is to call up Alderman Johnny Ringo Hill and any of the other aldermen from the city of Blue Island. If they want to speak, they can follow right after. Alderman Hill.
Good morning, ladies and gentlemen. I'm here on a personal note because a year and a half ago, I was whisked into MetroSouth Hospital for a severe case of pneumonia. And my primary doctor told me if I didn't go in at that particular time, that I wouldn't live to see the next day. So I was rushed into MetroSouth. When I got there, they were waiting on me with a wheelchair. So I was rushed in the back, they took care of me, and I'm here talking to you guys today. But my whole thing is for the CEO, I have a question for the CEO. Where is your humanity? Where is your feelings? Where is your need for this hospital to stay open? Because they took care of me, and I think it needs to be, and the people of Blue Island needs this hospital to stay open. So thank you very much for your time. Thank you, Mayor.
My pleasure. Any of the other aldermen want to say something? Alderman Mech?
Thank you, Mayor. Everyone, thank you for coming out. This is so important to show support. Like many of us in the Southland, we're generational. In the original hospital, as the mayor stated, in 1905, my great-grandmother had one of the first emergency surgeries there. We all go back a long time here. We need health care, right? Okay, we need health care. We need health care.
Do we need health care?
Thank you, Mayor. And you know, everybody, say hello to your neighbor, because a community, the Southland is a community. So look at your neighbors and say hello, all right? We need health care. This is corporate greed. Let's move forward. All right? Thank you very much.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Any other Alderman? If not, we're going to have former Alderman Nancy Thompson come up.
Thank you, Mayor, so much. Good morning, everyone. I'm grateful for the opportunity to be here today. As Alderman Hill stated,
There you go.
thank you. As Alderman Hill stated, he had a personal incident that happened to him. Well, I happen to have a personal thing going too with me, my husband. He has been deceased 10 years now, and this was his second home, this hospital. He was in and out of here so many times. And this hospital had the only unit for congestive heart failure. I brought him, or one of his children brought him here every Wednesday to have the fluid removed from his lungs and his heart. And he had so many years longer by this hospital and the services that they gave him. The wonderful doctors and nurses and therapists, everybody so dedicated to saving lives. This hospital has dedicated, loving people working here. And I plead and beg to the owners, please keep this hospital open, because we have wonderful people here.
What do we want? Keep it open. What do we want? Keep it open. What do we want? Keep it open. What do we want? Keep it open.
Yes, and I'm so grateful that the mayor has given me this opportunity to tell my story about my husband, Robert Thompson, because he was born and raised in the city of Blue Island, and I've been here 60 years. He was born, raised, and died in MetroSouth Hospital. Thank you very much for the opportunity. Have a great day.
Thank you very much, Alderman. Now I have the pleasure and honor to introduce our Alderman also, Alexander. Alderman.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. We need MetroSouth to stay open. Leaving Blue Island will create a death and life situation. Hospitals from Blue Island, the distance is too far. We need you to stay here. Posen needs you to stay here. Alsip needs you to stay here. Hal Park needs you to stay here. We need you here. So MetroSouth, please hear us. Please hear all of us. We need you here. Work with us as we work with you. Do not leave here. Please, MetroSouth, don't close. We beg of you. The hospital staff are so nice, courteous. I've never gone here and was never turned away. Always helped me in the time of my need. Family and friends have come here, have always been helped in their time of need. So we need you to continue to give us that great service in this great city. So MetroSouth, please hear us. Don't close.
What do we say?
MetroSouth.
Don't close.
MetroSouth.
Don't close.
MetroSouth.
Don't close.
Thank you very much, Alderman. I have the pleasure again now and honor to introduce Alderman Fahrenwald.
Thank you, Mayor. We all are here because we want this hospital to stay here, and very passionate about it. It's great to see. I want to sound a note of optimism right now. It's fantastic to see the community pull together. Everyone, no matter what side of any political spectrum we're on or how we feel about one another, we've all come together for this one cause, and it shows what's so wonderful about this town. I've lived here 20 years. I wouldn't live anywhere else, and it's because of this kind of spirit. So I believe that regardless of what happens here with the hospital, this is going to turn out well for Blue Island. We all pull together. There's a lot of potential here. There's all kinds of things that could happen with this facility, and I think that actually this has opened an opportunity rather than closed a door. So I see a lot of good feelings here. I want you to keep that. This is not something that should get us down. This is not going to take Blue Island down. We're too strong for that. We've come through too many things, and we always pull together, and we always have the best result, and that is what is going to happen here. Keep that in your minds and your hearts, because Blue Island is a strong place, and we are able to prevail over anything that comes before us, and we're going to do it today. We're not just going to prevail. Something really great is going to come from this. I know it. I can see it here today. Thank you.
As we call it, a miracle on Gregory Street. What do we call it? A miracle on Gregory Street. Now I have the pleasure and the honor to introduce State Rep Justin Slaughter.
All right, thank you, Mayor Vargas. I want to thank everybody for being here. This is extremely important. We're here to save our hospital. And, I did this chant a week ago, but we're going to do it again. When I say we will, you say rise. We will. Rise. We will. Rise. We will. Rise. That's right. So really two things we want to dwell on. The economic impact of this is tremendous. Over 800 jobs right here. The hardworking folks of MetroSouth Hospital. We want to stand in solidarity with SEIU Healthcare. We're proud of them. We stand by them. We're going to continue to fight for them. Over 800 jobs. We can't say that enough. The other thing is the need for the hospital. When you look at working families, middle-class families, people of color, underserved communities, we know that these populations are disproportionately impacted by chronic health illnesses. We need a hospital in this region. Myself, Senator Jones, 34th Alderman Kerry Austin, we go through this every year with Roseland. Now we have this situation with MetroSouth. We don't want these hospitals to close. We don't want to create a hospital desert. So this is extremely important. Myself, Representative Rita, and others did sponsor a bill this year. Actually, it's no longer a bill, it's law. The governor has signed this for situations like this so that we can get a better perspective on what's going on. We can slow these situations down, but really take a look at the fact that these areas need a quality hospital. And it's the entire region. That's why we have Mayor of Alsip, John Ryan, here as well. Aldermen from all of Blue Island are here because this is so important. So we stand in solidarity with everybody. We want you to be confident that your elected officials are fighting on behalf of this hospital and on behalf of this entire region. So let's end it like this. We will. Rise. We will. Rise. We will. Rise. All right, thanks everyone.
Thank you much. Is there any other alderman who wants to say something? City Clerk? City Treasurer? Let me move on to our first responder, Chief Dan Rita. Let's hear it for the chief for all first responders.
Good morning, everyone. Good morning. Thank you for coming out. As you know, we're here to fight to save MetroSouth. It will directly impact the services that we're able to provide as first responders, as a fire department as a whole. This is both professional and personal. I was born in that hospital 47 years ago. My sister was born there 45 years ago, and my grandfather died there in 1980. So that's the personal end of it. The professional end is like everybody else has spoke up here today, okay? You have some of, if not the best in the industry that work in that hospital and take very good care of the patients that are delivered to them. And to lose that is going to be detrimental to the area as a whole. We know St. James closed not too long ago, and the impact that it had on the region. This is going to have an even greater impact on the region if it is to go forward. As Mayor Ryan alluded to in his speech up here, the overall area is going to be taxed even more than it already is. Manpower is at an all-time low, if you will, or a premium. We're all fighting for the same thing, and it's going to tax the system as a whole as we know it. with farther travel distances, longer return times, and us being out of the firehouses more. So we're doing everything in the district as a whole, as a Chiefs Association, to remedy that the best we can. Your fire department, the residents of Blue Island, are doing everything in our power to provide and continue to provide the services that we do on a daily basis, and you will not see a dip in that as far as that goes, okay? So rest assured that we're doing our best to make this work, and as Alderman Fahrenwald alluded to, we look this as an opportunity perhaps to grow, and with your support, as you always have, we will grow from this, and we'll become stronger as a community as a whole. So thank you, and let's save Metro.
Thank you very much, Chief. Now I have the honor to introduce to you our Police Chief, Rzab. Let's hear it for the Chiefs.
Thank you, Mayor. Good morning, everyone. MetroSouth Medical Center is vital to this region's access to quality health care. The impact of its closure to our communities has been voiced both by our community members and our elected officials. On a much smaller scale, yet similarly relevant, I'd like to express the impact the closure will have on the Blue Island Police Department and its law enforcement counterparts. Law enforcement relies on MetroSouth Medical Center to expeditiously provide quality health care to those in our custody and or under our care. Occasionally, medical ailments or medical concerns expressed by those in our custody and or under our care warrant treatment. During such occasions, police resources are pulled from the streets and away from their patrol duties to maintain guard while medical services are rendered. MetroSouth Medical Center's ease of access and the efficiency of its personnel greatly reduce the amount of time police resources are removed from patrol duties. Should the closure proceed, the Blue Island Police Department and its counterparts, just like our residents, will be forced to seek health care elsewhere. Some of the alternatives to MetroSouth Medical Center include Ingalls Memorial Hospital in Harvey, approximately 4 miles away, Roseland Community Hospital in Chicago, approximately 5 miles away, Little Company of Mary in Evergreen Park, approximately 5 miles away, and Christ Medical Center in Oak Lawn, approximately 7 miles away. The alternatives, by virtue of their location, will significantly increase the amount of time police resources are away from their patrol duties. Additionally, the surmised increase in demand for medical services at these facilities created through MetroSouth's closure will also increase the amount of time police resources are away from their patrol duties. Like the members of our community, we will be traveling farther and waiting longer for health care. The reduction in police resources may not have a detrimental impact on large police departments. However, the Blue Island Police Department and the police department I represent here today do not have the staffing of large police departments. For us, every resource counts. For this reason, we ask the conversations to save MetroSouth Medical Center continue. Thank you.
What do we say? Save MetroSouth! Save MetroSouth!
Thank you, Chief. I don't know if you noticed, I just bent over to receive a text. Senator Duckworth sends her regards. She's full supportive. She couldn't join us this morning, but she's 110% behind us. So I want to let the public know she knows about our situation. So let's hear it for the senator. Let's hear it for Senator Duckworth. Now I have the pleasure to introduce the representative from the union SEIU. We should please come up. Thank you.
Good morning, everyone. My name is Brenda Shannon. I am a proud member of SEIU. I am a union steward for the hospital. I have worked at MetroSouth for 22 years in food service. Quorum Healthcare and Parent Cooperation is trying to shut our hospital down. Our acute care hospital without any regards to the damage it would do to our community. This cooperation does not care about our patients who will lose access to health care. They don't care that they will lose lives. They don't care that over 1,000 hard-working employees like me may lose our jobs, which would be devastating to our community. They do not care about the nature. It's not in my nature to call out names, but I must tell the truth. This cooperation, executives of Quorums are liars, liars, liars. And crooks. We all know that. Me and my co-workers are still working very hard to provide quality care. Even though our employees on a daily basis are disrespecting us. We demand the right that the review board postpone this hearing. Instead, they must gather the facts to determine whether Quorum Healthcare has violated the law, which they began to shut down our hospital before authorization from the state. 2 years ago, I lost my husband. He passed away at MetroSouth. They took care of him there for 15 great, marvelous years. I support my daughter and my granddaughter. This would be devastating to us. Because of Quorum greed, I could lose everything that I ever worked hard for. So tell me, is this right? So I'm calling on everyone, y'all. We got to stand together. This is our community. We got to keep our hospital. Save 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 our hospital. Thank you, everyone. SEIU.
Excuse me, Your Honor.
Thank you very much. Is anybody from the medical field here who would like to speak? Or nurses? Come on up. And don't be shy. We got to do it. This is our chance. Come on.
My name is LaShawn Harris. I've been a resident in the community for at least a great deal of 20 years. When I got the news, I was really, I'm gonna be honest, I was perfectly wishing like there was more aggressive news put out in regards to this. I appreciate everyone that's out here. I love all the support that everyone's giving to the community and us as a community being together. The thing that mostly I want to express is not just about the locations of where the nearest hospitals are, not just about the staff, not just about the history and so forth, but the reality is that without our hospital, people will die. Not what can happen, what will happen. And that's just the reality. I appreciate the discussion in regards to the closest and nearest hospitals because I did research that and I looked it up and I'm like, oh, Roseland, 5.2, you know, Ingalls, Palos, and so on, Advocate Christ. And then I looked into, okay, what if a child, or like standing here and the bees are around and I'm thinking, oh my God, I don't want to have a reaction. And Rita's over there like, me neither, I'm allergic. So I'm like, oh, so God forbid if it were ourselves, a child having a severe asthma attack or having a reaction and it can't breathe. How long does it take for the brain to go completely dead and how long can it last without oxygen? 4 minutes. How close are these near hospitals? How many minutes does it take? Not close enough, exactly. 16 minutes Roseland, what was this? 13 minutes Ingalls, 21 minutes Palos, and then the list just goes on. There's nothing nearby to save a life. So I'm trying to find out, and I understand that at the same time, hospital is a business. It takes money to run it. But I'm hoping and praying so hard that someone makes it their business to care enough and have some humanity about lives. That's what I want to see. Figure a way, make that your business to keep the hospital open.
Thank you very much. Mr. Young?
Yeah, my name is Ron Young. About 8 weeks ago, Carol Green and I started on a little crusade of citizen activism. We wrote letters to state reps, congressmen, senators, made phone calls, contacted the media, and tried to get publicity. But the one thing we want to report to you folks today is we need you to make phone calls. We need you to write letters. The federal government cut back on Medicare and Medicaid funding. Since that time, in the last 2 years, we've had a bunch of hospitals closing throughout the United States because of lack of funding. If you are not a level 1 hospital, which the only one around here is Christ Community in Oak Lawn, you will have reduced funding for Medicare and Medicaid patients. The only way you and I and Carol Green and people like State Representative Slaughter, whose people really worked with me to get information, can get this done is for you to raise the hue and cry, not here, not on Gregory Street, but in Washington and in Springfield. Get a hold of the names, representatives, write letters to the editor of the newspapers. 18 communities in the South suburban area need this hospital. 300,000 people. We are within a few minutes of these people when there's an emergency. The golden hour of 55 minutes for a heart or a stroke patient is violated, and the outcome when they get to a place like this hospital where the railroad yards have underpasses and overpasses is dramatically better than if they go to a farther hospital. Please, get out your pens, get on your telephones, and make some phone calls and write some letters. And Carol Green and I thank you for the support that those of you have given us, and particularly Representative Slaughter, who is our state rep. Thank you, folks.
Thank you, Sino. We have a few more speakers. Ms. Green, please.
Good morning. Thank you all for attending today. It's very important for people to understand that an article came out back in April announcing that Quorum had been notified they would be kicked off the New York Stock Exchange. That triggered Quorum to take steps to close not only our hospital, but a hospital in California. Why? Because they needed the assets to remain on the stock exchange. There are 4 entities that are ready, willing, and able to negotiate to purchase our community hospital and keep it up and functioning. It is imperative that Quorum be urged to go ahead and negotiate with these entities and not be allowed to shutter the hospital by the hospital board when it meets on the 17th. It is imperative that people understand that communities from 87th Street in Chicago all the way to Midlothian rely on the services of MetroSouth. We are surrounded, our Blue Island community is surrounded by trains that will further delay access to healthcare services in the event of an emergency. Our first responders all participated in
community meetings, our state representatives, and I want to thank both State Representative Rita and Slaughter for stepping up and talking about this serious issue. We need to save our community hospital, and it is important that people understand not every community has a hospital. We are very fortunate in Blue Island that there's been a hospital here since 1904. And there needs to be a hospital here forever. This should never be allowed to happen again. Quorum specifically took steps to not file the paperwork to become a safety net hospital. That is absolutely mind-boggling. Why wouldn't you want to be a safety net hospital so that this situation would not happen over and over repeatedly? We need the new buyer to get safety net status. We need people to show up at the healthcare board meeting and advocate to keep our community hospital open. Thank you.
Thank you very much. We have 2 more speakers, but let me add this for right now. 50,000 people use the ER room. Where are they going to go? And I've stated before, and you've heard it from other elected officials, by the time you get to Ingalls, you'll be dead. By the time you go to Christ, they'll close the doors on you. So where are they going to go? We need time. We need time to negotiate and tell corporate America, corporate greed, we are sick and tired of this. We're not going to stand for it in our community. So are we going to let them do it? No! Are we going to let them do it? No! We're going to save, forget MetroSouth, we're going to save our community hospital, as this flyer says in front. You can see the communities with their logos. Those are some of the ones who have been supporting us since day one, and many, many more. Let me bring up a young lady, an attorney, so she can speak as being a single parent. Ms. Norris.
Thank you, Mayor. You all hear me? All right, cool. So I stand up here and I represent the youth, and I look out, and not like a lot of you, I haven't lived here for 20 years. My family wasn't raised here for the amount of time that yours were. However, I come from a small town like this, and so I understand the community that is expressed here. It is why when I was seeking sanctuary for my home and for my family and for my 11-year-old son, I chose the jewel of the South Side. And I just want to say, the mayor had a lot of convincing in that, because I wasn't necessarily sure. But I came down here and I saw a community that knew each other, that loved each other, that stood by each other. It's a community that I came from, and it reminded me of home. And it showed me that it was someplace where I could raise my family. And I look out and I see children younger than my son, children the age of my son. And I just want to say this, as a single mom, we have enough to worry about. We are raising our children. We try to keep them safe. Removing a service like a community hospital from a place like this makes our jobs, and it's already hard, that much harder. Not only is this a community hospital, but the nurses, the people that are in the union, the doctors, they come from this community. And I tell you, there is something to be said when members of the community are being serviced by one of their own. It creates quality healthcare, better healthcare, because it's not just about the service, but it's about the love. It's about the fact that you've stood beside that person. You've stood beside that person in the grocery store. You've stood beside that person at White Castle. You've stood beside that person at a barbecue. And when they come into that ER, it makes you work for that person that much harder. And so I say this, Blue Island and its community is not a bottom line, and we need to save this hospital, because the effects that it has on a community like this when services leave it's detrimental. Blue Island is not a bottom line. Thank you.
Thank you very much, Council. Ms. Brown.
Good morning. I'm here representing the businesses in Blue Island as the executive director of the Chamber of Commerce. And come on, girls. I have a couple of my daughters here too, so we'll bring them out. The future of Blue Island, right. You probably heard me say these statistics before, but I'm going to say them again because they're important. MetroSouth employs more than 800 people. That's 62% of our second largest employment sector in our city. But that's not just Blue Island. Calumet Park, their #1 employment sector is healthcare. Where do you think they're working more than not right now? Right here. The effects of the closure of this hospital would be so devastating to commerce and livelihood. Has anyone ever been to DMARS? 50% of their business comes from employees of the hospital and people visiting other folks in the hospital. 50%, that's a business that's been in our town since 1950. That business alone employs 15 people. What happens? You see the domino effect. You see the ripple effect. It's imperative that we work together, that this decision is delayed or deferred for the application to close. We have to work together. We need more time to figure out the best solution for keeping healthcare in our community. And it's not just for commerce. I bring the girls up here because I'm a mom too. My girls go to Lincoln School. It's on Canal Street. And Blue Island's a great community, but we're not immune to, our areas are not immune to some of the violence that's plagued our nation. And those issues are huge, 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 much bigger than we can solve in probably our lifetimes. But what we know to be a certainty is that some of these acts of violence are on the rise. Expressway shootings, school violence. God forbid something of that nature happen in our schools. And we have no hospital to treat hundreds of children. And that's one school. 325 kids go to Lincoln School. God forbid. This is not okay. This is not all right. And we're going to fight. Save MetroSouth.
Let's say it again. Save our hospital. Save our hospital. Save our hospital. Let me make these remaining comments in Spanish. Le quiero dar las gracias a todos ustedes, habla hispana, por estar aquí con nosotros, apoyando que se mantenga este hospital que ha estado aquí de 1905 abierto. Es nuestra comunidad y no lo vamos a dejar que se lo cierren. Nosotros demandamos y necesitamos este hospital en nuestra comunidad. We need this hospital in our community. Do we or don't we? Yes. Do we or don't we? Yes. I want to thank all of you. Literally, look around you. Shake your neighbor's hands. If it wasn't for them, we wouldn't be here. This is the fight. This is a fight, and we're not going to let it go. It's emotional, but we're not going to let it go. We've been living in this community for so long, and we're not going to let this institution, we're not going to let those nuns who started it back in 1905 go away. They struggled. They struggled. And we're going to keep this hospital open. Even if we got to change that freaking name, we're going to change it. Save our hospital. Save our hospital. Let me make this quick announcement and I'll call Mr. DiPace-Greene to come back up. The future meeting is in Bolingbrook. Where is it going to be? Where is it going to be? On September the 17th. That's why we chose the 14th, so that we can let them know we aren't going to go dying slowly. We're going to be heard, Wall Street. We're going to let all our elected officials, the board, know this is serious. This is lives at stake. For those corporate America people who are in Tennessee or on Wall Street, how would you like this to happen to your family? And guess what? Karma. Karma. We'll come back and get them. When they need someone to go in emergency, guess what? Remember MetroSouth, remember Blue Island, because we told you it happened to our community, but we're not going to let it happen. Again, September the 17th, 2019, from 9 a.m. to 4 p.m. Again, as our state rep said, we'll get you all that information. We need as many people out there. There might not be all of you speaking, but we need to show support that this is serious. more than any other community. This is serious for the Southland. Es muy importante, tenemos una junta el 17 de septiembre en Bolingbrook de las 9 de la mañana hasta las 4. Necesitamos el apoyo de todos ustedes, si nos pueden acompañar en frente de la mesa directiva para decir, es necesario que se mantenga este hospital abierto para nuestra comunidad. We need this hospital to be open again, and we need to let the Illinois Health Facilities and Services Review Board. Guess what? How would you like this to happen in your backyard? We need to know whether they're in Springfield or far up north. This is our community, and we're not going to let it happen. So again, if you need more information, we'll get you more information. Before I close, Mr. DiPace-Greene.
Thank you. I want to invite everyone to be aware and attend and participate in the next rally. That'll be approximately 1 o'clock, 1:30 today. A lot of people couldn't attend this morning because they had to work or they had small children they needed to get ready. So there's going to be a march from the Libby Building, located at 13636 Western Avenue, to Gregory. Please come out. There's plenty of parking. Show your support to save our hospital. Help keep our community hospital open. Do not obstruct traffic while peacefully marching. Do not park on anyone's lawn or in their driveways. Thank you for coming out to the next rally, which is later on this afternoon, to accommodate the people who couldn't make it to this morning's rally. Keep up the good work, communities of Alsip, Blue Island, Calumet Park, Midlothian, Markham, wherever you came from. We appreciate you being here. We look forward to seeing you again this afternoon. Thank you. Mayor Vargas.
Thank you very much. Again, in closing, we came here for a purpose, and we're not leaving until we get our goal, which is what? Save our hospital. And let me say this, patience before profits. What is it? Patience before profits. That's what's been going wrong with this country most recently. The dollar, humanity, we've lost it, even with social media. But we can use social media to our benefit, and we are, and we will continue doing it. And I want to thank all of you. Les quiero dar las gracias a todos ustedes for coming out. On a beautiful day like that, you could have been doing something else, but we're here to save an institution that's very vital for our country, for our state, for our city, for our community. I want to thank you. So what are we going to say? Patience before profits. Patience before profits. Save our hospital. Save our hospital. Save our hospital. Thank you very much, Blue Island and all the surrounding communities. Thank you very much for your support. Let's hear it. Keep going. Are we going to let them win? Are we going to let them close? Are we going to show them who we are? Thank you, Blue Island and Southland. God be with us.